The Vatican has opened up 2 tombs inside a tiny cemetery in the hopes of solving a 36-year-old disappearance.
In a shocking discovery that has stunned the world, a sealed tomb beneath the Vatican has just been opened after 2,000 years, revealing secrets that no one could have ever imagined. What was hidden inside has sent shockwaves through the global community, and that's just the beginning. As more tombs are uncovered, the mysteries surrounding this ancient burial site grow darker and more terrifying. What was buried here, and why did it remain sealed for so long? Stay with us as we explore the spine-chilling truth behind these unprecedented archaeological finds and uncover what lies hidden beneath the Vatican. Vatican opens tomb for a cold case. In 1983, a 15-year-old girl named Emmanuela Ori vanished without a trace. And to this day, her disappearance remains one of the Vatican's most haunting mysteries. As the daughter of a Vatican employee, Emmanuela's family lived within its walls, and her disappearance sparked a web of rumors and theories. These ranged from ties to a Vatican bank scandal to whispers of a ring, each deepening the shadows surrounding her fate. Despite various investigations and theories, no one had ever been able to confirm what happened to her. In 2019, the case took a chilling twist. An anonymous tip led investigators to search the Vatican's Tonic Cemetery, with a cryptic message suggesting they look where the angel is pointing. This angel statue, part of a larger monument, overlooked 2 19th-century tombs belonging to Princess Sophie von Hohenlohe and Princess Carlotta Feder of Mecklenburg. Under mounting public pressure, the Vatican finally agreed to open the tombs in hopes of uncovering answers. What they found, however, was shocking. Both tombs were empty. There were no remains of the princesses, and no sign of Emmanuela, just empty, silent chambers. This was not the first time that the Vatican had to get involved in the search for Emmanuela. In 2012, the tomb of a Roman mobster was exhumed on the speculation that the gem had something to do with Emmanuela's disappearance, but even that went with no trace of her. The mystery deepened when the angel statue seemed to point to the empty tombs, suggesting a new lead. The absence of the remains of princesses raised more questions. Were they removed? Or did the renovations in the cemetery during the 19th and 20th centuries contribute to their disappearance? And so the case remains open, and what has become of the princesses' remains continues to baffle simply because of the minimal answers that the Vatican has to offer. That leads them to wonder what the speculations are about these discoveries and whether they truly hold the key to one of the Vatican's most perplexing cold cases. The case of Emmanuela Ori and the empty tombs is an unsettling reminder that even in places of power and faith, mysteries and unanswered questions linger for decades. This tomb's mystery is just the start. Wait until the next one is revealed. The secret Borgia apartments. Tucked inside the Vatican Palace are the secret Borgia apartments, an extraordinary yet haunting reminder of the powerful and scandalous Borgia family. These 6 lavish rooms were sealed for centuries after the death of Pope Alexander VI, hiding a history of ambition, excess, and violence. The apartments are a stunning display of Renaissance beauty, filled with vivid frescoes of saints, sibyls, and medieval scenes. The artist Pinturicchio, along with his team, worked meticulously to create intricate works that blended deep religious meaning with undeniable luxury, solidifying the Borgia family's legacy. The frescoes and intricate stucco work throughout these rooms are not just decoration. They reflect the Borgias' desire to cement their place in history. Each stroke of the brush serves as a testament to their power and influence. However, the beauty of these rooms is overshadowed by the dark truths that lie within them. One of the most famous tales tied to these apartments is the tragic story of Lucrezia Borgia's husband, Alfonso of Aragon, who was allegedly murdered by orders from her brother Cesare. The same chambers are rumored to have witnessed the death of Pope Alexander VI, with rumors swirling that he was poisoned, a grim fate befitting the family's controversial legacy. The apartments remained encrypted, brooding in the dark for centuries. The name of Borgia soon came to be identified with scandal. Their political and personal actions had often crossed boundaries where power turned into cruelty. It was only under Pope Leo VIII in 1889 that these rooms again opened to the public, revealing astonishing beauty and intricacy. Although the restorations and new light they shine on the frescoed walls seem to have dispelled the air of intrigue, The walls are still steeped in stories of treachery and scandal, so much so that visitors are left to wonder what really happened in the fine chambers. As you walk through the Borgia apartments today, it is difficult to refrain your imagination from conjuring up images of grand feasts, secret meetings, or crucial decisions in the shaping of history. Even if the frescoes will never reveal the full extent of all the secrets harbored within those walls, they form a wordless invitation to discover the darker side of this ecclesiastical historical past. For the rooms will tell you not just of Renaissance beauty, but of the ambitious, multifaceted individuals who once called them home, bringing you into a troubled chapter in both Vatican and European history. The Tomb of St. Peter. The Tomb of St. Peter is one of the most sacred and historically significant sites in Christianity. Located beneath St. Peter's Basilica in Vatican City, it is believed to be the final resting place of the Apostle Peter, one of Jesus' 12 disciples and the first pope of the Catholic Church. St. Peter's tomb became a cornerstone of Christian history, attracting pilgrims for centuries who sought to honor the saint's memory. The tomb's location, deep under the basilica's grand altar, has remained a place of mystery and reverence, holding the remnants of one of Christianity's most important figures. For centuries, historians could only speculate about the tomb's exact location and the nature of its contents. It wasn't until 1939 that a cave collapsed near St. Peter's altar, revealing an ancient Roman burial ground that triggered a series of secret excavations. Archaeologists working beneath the papal altar unearthed a tomb containing the remains of a 67-year-old man, dating back to the 1st century. The Vatican stood firm in declaring that these were the bones of St. Peter, despite debates and controversies surrounding the discovery. The tomb became a powerful symbol of faith and the enduring legacy of the apostle, cementing the Vatican's claim as the center of the Catholic Church. The discovery of the tomb was further confirmed in 2002, when archaeologists unearthed a marble sarcophagus inscribed with the words "Pu Apostolo Mart" in reference to the Apostle Peter. By 2009, carbon dating confirmed that the remains were from the 1st century, adding another layer of validation to the claim. However, the journey to uncover the tomb was not without its challenges. During the years following the initial discovery, excavations revealed pagan tombs, Christian symbols, and a red-painted wall inscribed with cryptic messages. These discoveries added to the complexity of understanding the historical context surrounding St. Peter's burial site. Despite the excitement surrounding the discovery of St. Peter's tomb, it led to another revelation in 2013, when Pope Francis restored Peter's remains to their rightful place beneath St. Peter's Basilica. These findings have been instrumental in shaping the Church's historical narrative, emphasizing the deep roots of Christianity in the heart of the Vatican. While the tomb itself remains a sacred site for Catholics around the world, the discoveries made beneath the basilica continue to raise questions about the early days of Christianity and the lasting legacy of its most iconic figure, St. Peter. Pagan roots beneath St. Peter's Basilica. Beneath the Grand St. Peter's Basilica lies a hidden history that intertwines the early Christian church with ancient pagan traditions. In the mid-20th century, a secret excavation revealed something remarkable: a vast pagan cemetery buried deep beneath the Vatican's sacred grounds. This project, conducted with meticulous care, uncovered tombs dating back to the 1st century AD, revealing a close connection between the Roman Empire and the emerging Christian faith. The excavation, done carefully to avoid damaging the massive foundation of St. Peter's Basilica, provided physical evidence supporting the long-held belief that St. Peter's remains were buried here. In 1950, Life magazine published rare photos of these discoveries, revealing ancient tombs and chambers where pagan and Christian history seemed to overlap. The excavation uncovered not only the tombs of early Christians, but also pagan graves, showing how these two religious practices coexisted during the early days of Christianity. The findings challenged previous perceptions and brought to light the complex nature of the early church's relationship with the Roman world. For centuries, the Vatican had taught that St. Peter's remains were buried beneath the basilica, and these excavations provided physical evidence to support that belief. Whispers abound about the fact that they found the bones of St. Peter himself during these diggings, one of the most intriguing discoveries related to the saint himself. However, the Vatican has not shared anything concrete about these finds, which has led to more speculation and myth. Some believe that it is true they were found. The Church just has not yet made the full disclosure to people. Such secrecy about these finds adds to the mysterious aura surrounding St. Peter's tomb and the still open question of whether indeed those bones were really found beneath the basilica. These findings under St. Peter's Basilica remind us of the emergence of Christianity and its growth into and among the remnant veins of the ancient Roman tradition. The site now stands interestingly on the border between faith and history, where pagan rituals and earliest Christian practice collided. Such findings made here reveal just how intermixed the history of Christianity is with that of the Roman Empire. Petto de Borgo. The Petto de Borgo, an unassuming brick passageway, lies hidden in the heart of Vatican City, connecting the Vatican to Castel Sant'Angelo. Built in 1277 by Pope Nicholas III, this 800-meter corridor was designed as a secret escape route for popes during times of danger. While it might seem ordinary at first glance, the Petto's importance becomes clear when considering the many crises the Vatican has faced throughout history. The corridor's plain exterior hides a well-thought-out structure, strong and secure, offering safety to the Church's leaders during turbulent periods. One of the most dramatic moments in the Petto's history occurred during the sack of Rome in 1527, when Emperor Charles V's troops stormed the city. Pope Clement VII, caught in the chaos, had to make a quick escape to save his life. He and his followers fled through the Petto, their hurried footsteps echoing in the stone corridor as they sought refuge in Castel Sant'Angelo. In that moment, the passageway was more than just a means of escape. It became a symbol of survival for the Vatican's leadership, safeguarding them from the violent storm outside its walls. Walking through the Petto today, visitors can almost enter another time and touch the past. The stone walls, which have weathered and worn, still stand in magnificence, with small windows providing visibility to the tourist-packed modern world below. The stark contrast shows how the Petto has stood through centuries of transformation, quietly absorbing the noises of the world while changing around it. A powerful reminder of the Church's long-standing resilience and the lengths to which the institution has gone to protect its leaders during crises. The Petto de Borgo is indeed not just a passage, it is alive and serves along with the Vatican as testimony to a very bloody, turbulent past and the commitment of that institution to survive. As visitors venture on this hidden path, one could really feel the weight of its history. From the old days of escape to a testament of history that today remains a mere quiet, almost silent feature of the past. This much continues to say about the Petto as an unusually interesting and now nearly forgotten part of Vatican City. It is a passage that is more than stone. It is history from its past, absolutely to the present, and in a powerful, enduring way. The Catacombs of St. Calixtus. The Catacombs of St. Calixtus, located just outside the walls of Rome, are an extraordinary sight that offers a glimpse into the early history of Christianity. These underground tunnels, stretching for miles beneath the Appian Way, served as the official burial grounds for early Christians in the 3rd century. The catacombs were carved out of old quarries and became the final resting place for over 500,000 people. In a time when Roman law prohibited burials within the city, early Christians created vast cemeteries along major roads like the Appian Way, where they could bury their dead in secret. The catacombs were originally used for burial and were carved into the soft tuff stone of the area. At first, cremation was common, but by the 2nd century, Christians began burying their dead instead, a practice that led to the creation of elaborate tombs. These tombs, known as archaeological, featured decorated arches and were often more ornate than the simpler loculi tombs, which were narrow slots carved into the walls for commoners. As the Christian faith grew and evolved, these catacombs also became sites of worship and pilgrimage, playing a significant role in the spiritual life of early Christians. In the 4th century, when it began to gain more acceptance and power, huge basilicas would be constructed in place of the catacombs for the ever-increasing crowds of visitors. These underground burial places did, however, mostly become deserted. This trend continued, particularly after the 8th century, when relocation of relics from catacombs into safer places within churches started. The catacombs of St. Calixtus were rediscovered after being forgotten for scores of years in the 1500s and gave a riveting insight about the then early Christian world. This recovery also demonstrated that early Christians were not the only groups interred here, as evidence was found about Jewish burials and even pagan ones, suggesting that these communities were even more entangled than what previously was thought. Today, the catacombs of St. Calixtus offer a real possibility of getting closer to the early heritage of Christianity. Here, visitors can come to admire the antique frescoes, which portrayed biblical scenes blended with classical Roman decoration in a singular way, integrating religious and cultural traditions of the time. These catacombs stand as reminders of much that was alive and thriving among the people of the early Christian community, and tell of how faith was lived out and how the traditions of the church were born in the time of persecution and secrecy. Not only are the catacombs a burial site, but also a part of the strength and great history of the endurance of Christianity against adversity. Keep your eyes open. The next one holds a secret that will astonish you. Pope and Hitler secrets. During the chaos of World War II, a hidden communication link was uncovered between two unlikely figures, Pope Pius VII and Adolf Hitler. Recent findings from Vatican archives have shed light on this secret exchange, raising tough questions about the Church's actions during one of the darkest times in history. In 2020, millions of documents were made public, offering a closer look at the difficult choices faced by Pope Pius VII. Among these papers was a letter from December 14, 1942, written by a German Jesuit priest named Lothar Kief, addressed to Pius's secretary, Robert Leiber. The letter detailed horrifying reports from the Holocaust, including the daily gassing of up to 6,000 Jews and Poles at the Belzec death camp in Poland. While it is unclear if Pope Pius VII himself read the letter, its delivery indicated that the Vatican was aware of the atrocities unfolding during the war. This discovery has led to fierce debates about the Pope's actions, or lack thereof, during the Holocaust. Critics argue that Pope Pius VII failed to publicly condemn the mass murder of Jews, citing his silence as complicity. They point to his lack of public statements denouncing Hitler's regime as evidence of a failure of leadership at a time when the world desperately needed strong moral voices. Supporters of Pope Pius, however, argue that his silence constituted a coordinated effort to safeguard innocent lives. They suggest the Pope used the vast resources of the Holy See to rescue Jewish people by hiding them throughout Europe's church institutions. Such behind-the-scenes diplomacy, they say, has certainly saved many lives, even as frugally as possible. Indeed, these newly uncovered documents chip away at the kind of narratives that have long been accepted concerning Pope Pius VII's role during the war, revealing a much more complicated, less savory situation. Under research activities on these files, the question becomes whether the silence of Pope Pius amounts to a lack of leadership or an astute move to rescue as many as possible. It definitely alters the conversation towards the role of the Church in one of the darkest periods in modern history. Debate regarding the Pope and World War II is far from over, and these newly unearthed letters and documents provide ongoing fuel for discussion of leadership, morality, and responsibility for religious institutions in time of crisis. The Holy Door. The Holy Door at St. Peter's Basilica is one of the most significant symbols of the Catholic Church, representing faith, forgiveness, and spiritual renewal. Sealed shut with bricks, the door waits for its moment to open during the Holy Year, a special event that occurs every 25 years. The tradition dates back to the Jubilee of 1500, when Pope Alexander VI first instituted the ritual. The Pope strikes the wall, covering the door with a hammer, breaking it open to reveal stunning bronze panels created by artist Vico Consorti in 1949. These panels are not mere decoration. They depict powerful stories of faith, redemption, and the journey of spiritual renewal. Once opened, the Holy Door becomes a sacred passage for pilgrims from all over the world. Walking through it is believed to grant spiritual benefits, including the forgiveness of sins and a renewed connection to God. The symbolism behind the Holy Door is deeply rooted in Christian teachings, reflecting the words of Jesus, "I am the gate. Whoever enters through me will be safe." For the faithful, crossing through this door is a moment of profound significance, marking a new beginning in their spiritual journey. Although the Holy Door traditionally opens once every 25 years, there have been extraordinary occasions when it opened outside of the usual schedule. For instance, in 1933, Pope Pius VI declared a special jubilee to mark the 1900th anniversary of Christ's crucifixion. Similarly, Pope John Paul II declared a special jubilee in 1983, cementing his mark on the marble stones above the door. Each time the Holy Door is opened or sealed, it becomes a powerful reminder of the Church's enduring message of hope and forgiveness. The Holy Door stands as a bridge between the past and present, symbolizing the deep roots of the Catholic Church and its commitment to offering a path to grace. It's not just a physical structure, but a potent symbol of the Church's spiritual role in the lives of believers. The Holy Door is a reminder that, through faith, renewal is always possible. Each opening of the door draws millions of pilgrims from around the world, eager to experience its profound significance and partake in the Church's rich tradition of redemption. The Raphael Rooms. The Raphael Rooms, located within the Vatican museums, are some of the most important and breathtaking spaces in the world, where art, history, and philosophy seamlessly come together. These rooms, painted by the renowned artist Raphael and his workshop in the early 1500s, are considered masterpieces of the Renaissance. Pope Julius II commissioned Raphael to transform 4 rooms in the Vatican Palace into stunning works of art, each room reflecting a distinct theme. These rooms became a symbol of Renaissance ideals, showcasing the intersection of knowledge, politics, and spirituality during a period of profound cultural growth. The first room completed, the Room of the Signatura, is dedicated to the celebration of human knowledge, blending theology, philosophy, justice, and poetry. Its most famous fresco, the School of Athens, features the greatest philosophers of the ancient world, including Plato and Aristotle, in a magnificent composition that represents intellectual harmony. This room sets the tone for the entire series, blending philosophy with the Church's spiritual authority. The frescoes are a visual representation of the Renaissance belief in the unity of knowledge and the divine, positioning the Pope's intellectual power alongside the knowledge of the classical world. The next room, the Room of Heliodorus, depicts dramatic scenes of divine intervention and conflict. Among the most notable frescoes here is the expulsion of Heliodorus from the temple, which reflects the political struggles of the time, including Pope Julius II's battles to defend the Papal States. This room, much like the others, is infused with rich symbolism, using biblical narratives to express contemporary challenges facing the Church and the papacy. The frescoes in this room highlight the Church's ongoing struggle to maintain power and protect its territory in the face of external threats. The final room, the Hall of Constantine, was completed after Raphael's death and marks a triumphant moment for the Church. It celebrates Emperor Constantine's conversion to Christianity, symbolizing the triumph of the Christian faith over paganism. This room's frescoes emphasize the rise of Christianity and the Church's increasing influence in the political sphere. As visitors walk through the Raphael Rooms, they are not just witnessing artistic genius, but also engaging with the spiritual and political narratives that shaped Renaissance Europe. These rooms serve as a testament to the power of art in expressing complex ideas about knowledge, faith, and authority. Michelangelo's unfinished sculptures. Michelangelo's unfinished sculptures are some of the most intriguing works of art in history, offering a unique insight into the artist's creative process and personal struggles. Unlike his completed masterpieces, such as the David or the Sistine Chapel ceiling, these sculptures are raw and unfinished, capturing the artist's ambition and relentless drive for perfection. These incomplete works are not the result of carelessness, but rather reflect Michelangelo's tireless quest to achieve something extraordinary, often hindered by time, pressure, or his own evolving vision. These sculptures, particularly his Slave series, have become iconic, not just for their beauty, but for the story they tell about the artist's inner world. One of the most famous unfinished pieces in this series is the Dying Slave, now housed in the Louvre. The figure appears trapped in the marble, as though struggling to break free, creating a powerful image of vulnerability and defiance. The sculpture's unfinished state enhances the sense of movement, making it feel alive, as if it could awaken at any moment. This dynamic tension between the completed and incomplete elements of the sculpture mirrors the artist's own internal battles, making The Dying Slave one of the most emotionally evocative works of art in the world. The sculpture's rawness invites viewers to contemplate the unfinished nature of human endeavor and struggle. Another notable unfinished sculpture is The Rebellious Slave, also displayed in the Louvre. This figure, twisting in resistance, conveys a sense of defiance and power. The vivid portrayal of muscles and movement makes it seem as though the sculpture is on the verge of action. Michelangelo's mastery of human anatomy and his ability to convey motion in stone is evident here, showcasing his unmatched skill. These unfinished sculptures not only demonstrate Michelangelo's technical prowess, but also his ability to capture the emotional depth of his subjects, making them feel almost alive in their imperfection. The Atlas Slave, located in the Accademia Gallery in Florence, is another iconic example of Michelangelo's unfinished work. Depicting a figure seemingly burdened by the weight of the world, it symbolizes both human resilience and Michelangelo's relentless ambition. These unfinished works offer a rare glimpse into the artist's mind, revealing his creative process and the challenges he faced in his pursuit of perfection. Far from being flaws, these unfinished sculptures are considered some of Michelangelo's greatest achievements, as they embody the struggle for artistic and personal growth, and remind us that greatness often lies not just in the final product, but in the journey toward it. Stick around for our top revelation. It's going to leave you speechless. The Vatican's Secret Archives. The Vatican's Secret Archives are one of the most mysterious and fascinating collections of documents in the world, housing over 1,000 years of history. Contrary to popular belief, these archives are not filled with sinister secrets or hidden conspiracies, but rather preserve a vast array of historical records and official papers. The archives contain more than 100,000 documents, some dating back to the 8th century, covering everything from the Church's role in medieval politics to its interactions with monarchs and common people alike. The documents offer a unique glimpse into the complex relationship between the Church and the world throughout the centuries. These archives are far more than dusty relics of the past. They include letters, official orders, and records from the papal courts, providing invaluable insight into the Church's influence on world events. The records reveal the political, social, and economic actions of the Vatican, showing how the Church played a central role in shaping society. Among the documents are letters exchanged between popes and kings, outlining peace treaties, alliances, and even the Church's involvement in land disputes and marriage approvals. These documents offer a behind-the-scenes look at how the Vatican's decisions shaped history in ways that are often overlooked. One particularly fascinating piece of history found in the Vatican's secret archives is from the 14th century, during the chaotic period of the 100 Years' War. The archives hold letters showing how King Philip IV of France, despite his desires, was unable to launch a crusade. Other documents reveal internal struggles within the Church, such as rival monks fighting for control of monasteries, demonstrating that even in sacred spaces, power struggles were very real. These records highlight the complexity of the Vatican's influence and the behind-the-scenes politics that shaped its actions during some of Europe's most turbulent times. Perhaps one of the most famous stories tied to the Vatican's secret archives is the trial of the Knights Templar, an event that has fueled countless conspiracy theories. The archives house a 60-meter-long scroll detailing their trial, now available for scholars to study. Contrary to the idea that the Vatican is hiding secrets, the archives provide a transparent and meticulous historical record, documenting everything from medieval trade licenses to church-led efforts to maintain order in a chaotic world. The Vatican's secret archives are a treasure trove of history, shedding light on the Church's involvement in shaping global events and offering scholars a deeper understanding of its complex legacy. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the secrets of the Vatican, don't forget to hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more incredible discoveries. Be sure to click on the next video shown on the screen for even more jaw-dropping content. See you in the next one.